French President Macron has been slapped by his wife during a visit to Vietnam. A video captured by several news agencies shows First Lady Brigitte Macron grabbing Emmanuel Macron's face as he exits the presidential plane in Hanoi, Vietnam. As the aircraft door opens, the camera captures French President abruptly step back, as a hand, that of his wife Brigitte Macron, in red, appears to push him away in the face. Realizing that he was being filmed, the French president quickly regained his composure, smiled and gave a quick wave. As the couple descended the stairs, the First Lady refused the arm President Macron offered her to take. The president's office first denied the authenticity of the images, citing manipulation. However, after the authenticity of the video was verified, Elysee Palace changed the narrative and confirmed the authenticity of the video. The French publication BFM RMC quoted the Elysee Palace as stating that a close friend of the president spoke about a minor quarrel between the spouses. The French delegation was received by senior Vietnamese officials.
The largest wildfires in the last 7 years are raging across Russia. The authorities are responding with photo sessions and rituals while the fire is devouring entire regions, and federal media are trying to pretend that nothing special is happening. In the meantime, instead of fighting the elements, the funds are being used to wage war against Ukraine, the Center for Countering Disinformation reports. Since the beginning of 2025, Russia has recorded catastrophic forest fires that have already destroyed over 4.3 million hectares, an area comparable to the territory of Denmark. The most critical situation is observed in the Trans-Baikal territory, where the flames have engulfed more than 2.2 million hectares and the scale of the fire continues to grow. Federal Russian media barely cover the situation, and regional publications create a sense of absurdity. Local officials pose against the backdrop of the smoking remains of the forest, pretending to have successfully extinguished the fire, while simultaneously complaining about an acute shortage of equipment and people. Meanwhile, the internet was filled with images of the burnt-out Ogonyok camp, smoke-filled highways and evacuated villages, while a new children's camp was ceremoniously opened in a neighboring region. Against this backdrop, hundreds of residents of Transbaikalia came out to the river to perform a Buddhist ritual to call for rain in the hope that the sky would be more generous than the state. Experts point out that the resources needed to combat the disaster are being directed towards the war against Ukraine. The Kremlin shows clear indifference to the lives of its citizens as flames continue to engulf new lands. Earlier, media reported that numerous regions of Siberia were hit by a destructive natural disaster. Forest fires are rapidly spreading amid hurricane winds and the dust storms, destroying residential buildings and infrastructure in populated areas. Strong hurricanes and forest fires engulfed the Irkutsk region, Khakassia, and Krasnoyarsk Krai. The fire came close to federal highways and spread to residential buildings. In some settlements, entire villages burned down. Khakassia authorities say that the villages of Kalinino, Sarpovago, Novoenesika, and Ochursky village council suffered the most. In Abakan, Chernogorsk, and Ust-Abakansky district, the wind damaged the roofs of residential and social buildings and power outages were recorded. A state of emergency has been declared in the republic. Partisans seeking Kiev's victory in Ukraine's war against Ukraine are expanding their activities deep inside Russia. Recently, Partisan unit, possibly numbering dozens of team members, is operating in remote woods and wetlands deep inside Russia and has attacked local security forces, Ukrainian and Russian news reports. According to Kyiv Post media outlet, fighters were part of a 100-personnel partisan unit deployed by Ukraine's Special Operations Command to carry out reconnaissance and sabotage missions deep behind Russian lines. Russian mill blogger Vladimir Romanov confirmed this. It is noted that between the villages of Subotino and Myakishevo, on Tuesday, a 10-member commando group engaged local law enforcers in a possible ambush and then broke contact by retreating into nearby wetland 40 kilometers inside Russia. Some unconfirmed reports said. Other reports, equally unconfirmed, said Russian defense forces killed all the raiders. Authorities blocked access roads to the two villages and neighboring hamlets and erected highway checkpoints as part of a dragnet operation. The independent Astra news agency reported a police lockdown on roads around the town of Vygonichi, 40 kilometers further north from the site of the possible firefight, was in effect. The Astra report said. Posushano Klintsi, local news platform, reported that a Kiev-loyal raider group appeared to be at large in the Vygonichi vicinity, but asserted authorities had the situation under control. A statement to readers said, "Maintain calm, don't panic, trust reliable sources, don't trust rumors." Russia's Bryansk forests territory is deeply cut with rivers, streams and swamps, and is nearly roadless. A same-named Bryansk National Park, about 200 square kilometers, is at the center of the thickly wooded region. The landscape around the national park is neither cultivated nor logged, so it's generally impenetrable to all but individuals on foot and covers a surrounding area of some 7,500 square kilometers extending south into Ukraine.